All right, back at it with conversation combo combos, and we're actually talking about movies, music, and books. So just right off the rip, one of my favorite movies, I would honestly have to say that goes down eternally is Boys in the Hood, and the reason why that movie holds so much like resonance towards me is because the interaction that the main character had with his father and it was just very inspirational and there was like a lot of like drama and like there was a lot of points where it was just like it was educational and there was like certain quotes in that movie that like really resonated with me that made me feel like to have more of a brighter mindset on becoming a man because one of the quotes was just like any any guy can make a baby. Any guy can make a baby, but it takes a real man to stay and raise a kid, you know? So that's something like true and inspiring. You know, you can't like just be out here putting your stuff into any female willy nilly and not take up the responsibility and the accountability. You know, now if y'all want to split ways, that's on y'all. But if you want to stay in there and you actually want to raise the kid, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. That's definitely one. That's I gotta put that on my watch list because not gonna lie, haven't watched it, but I have heard about it. Tried and bite my tongue. um, you said it best. I mean, if you're gonna have a baby, you gotta be there and take care of it. You gotta
yeah,
you get in the bed or you get in the car and you spread your legs and you stick it in. I mean, you're that's the responsibility.
yep,
You're very coherent and aware that what you're doing could cause something repercussions and responsibilities. And I mean, that's the reality of it. Unfortunately, now we can just erase those responsibilities if we choose so, just for fun.
yeah,
That's a whole nother ball game and political and all that stuff. So we'll stay out of that. But um, sounds like a good movie, a very heartfelt movie. I mean, that kind of reminds me of shoot, I can't even remember the name of the movie. It was a chess movie. The guy teaches this group of kids that's at the school. They're very troubled, and he teaches them how to play chess. And so they're playing chess, and one of them gets involved with another one of his friends who goes and ends up robbing this dude. Well, in the process of that dude trying to rob, one of the kids gets shot and ends up killing him. And it's a very heartfelt tearjerker. So, I mean, it just shows that, I mean, there's responsibilities and rules, and we all have to look at our morals and stay focused, watch your moral compass. Um, so, in a lot of those movies, I love, and
yeah.
that's definitely, like I said, going on the watch list. So, um, I hate that I can't keep going on it.
Uh,
Um, but I guess I'll do a movie. A movie for me is the Goofy movie. Um, Stereotypical Disney movie. It stays with me because I grew up with it. I had the VHS, Diamond Edition, or whatever, and I remember my mom getting it for me. I watched
yeah,
it all
so
the
it's
time.
it's it's nostalgic.
Yeah,
It's very
and
nostalgic.
of course, a lot of Disney movies are nostalgic, and it's hard to say like, oh well, they're making a remake of this, remake of that. Like, stay nostalgic. I mean, to me, I'm just the original Goofy movie.
Yeah,
I remember having it on VHS and just watching it all the time. Even now, I watch it all the time. The other night, put it on.
yeah,
I watched it. I just love the music and stuff. Even listen to the rock versions of it. I
yeah.
mean,
No, it's a very chill vibe. I mean, there's a lot of it's funny there's like a lot of good kid movies that are actually like pretty damn good. Some kid movies are getting like little like I wouldn't say it's a bad way, but like definitely them they tap in
Yeah.
they touch
I
you in like those certain areas of like wow, this is a kids movie, and like they're actually like talking about certain that movie Element was a
yeah.
pretty damn good one. There was another one about like she had a bunch of like her emotions in her head.
Inside Out.
Yeah, Inside Out. I was about to say the name, and I was like, I didn't want to say if it was wrong, but yeah, Inside Out. And I know they came out with the second
Second
part.
one.
Inside Out is another
It's a
good movie.
phenomenal movie, and
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like the originals or the movies that are like don't have aren't remakes are very like they focus strictly on, hey, how can we relate to the audience, how can we like, and they teach you things like the Goofy movie taught me like, hey, like you and your dad aren't going to see eye to eye, no pun intended, one of the songs in it is eye to eye,
yeah,
but you and your parent aren't going to always see eye to eye, and you gotta respect each other for that at the end of the day. And either way, you love each other and you're gonna be there for each other. I mean, to reel it back to like the movie you said, you're the father, you gotta be there for your son. No
yeah,
matter what, no matter how stupid he acts, no matter what he does. Oh, he skipped school? Okay,
yeah.
we'll talk to him
Well,
about it.
there was one incident in that movie, Boys in the Hood, where the main character's name was Trey,
Mhm.
and he just got into a altercation, whatever, like that, off of someone in the streets or whatever. Or no. I think it was it was after one of his close friends died, Ricky, and he went to go grab the gun, and then his father was like, "Well, what you gonna do with that?"
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Oh, move." Like move, it's like oh you big and bad now, huh? Oh okay, you big and bad now.
Yeah.
All right. So is that what you gonna do? You gonna go out there and you're gonna shoot someone, right? All right, shoot me then. Shoot me. You want to shoot someone? Then go ahead and shoot me. You want to take your anger out? Go ahead and shoot me. And he's just like, put down the gun, Trey. And he just kept on being stern. Trey didn't want to put down the gun because there was a lot of emotions and he didn't want to put
Yeah.
it with tears coming down his face, and he had to say it to him again. He's like, put down the gun, Trey.
Yeah.
And he finally put down the gun, and then they hugged it out and his stuff.
Mhm.
And like in between the confrontation that he had with his dad and stuff like that, he's just like, no, like I'm not gonna have you do that. It's like, listen, my heart goes out for your boy out there because that's someone's kid and stuff like that. But you're my kid. You're my problem. You
Yeah.
know, I don't want
And
you out there in the streets and then something happens to you. So
yeah, and I feel like a lot of people take that as like, oh, like I don't have to be your problem. I could be my own man. Like I could take care of myself. And it's like, no, you don't understand the big picture. The big picture is that you go out and you kill that person who killed your friend or your homeboy or whatever you want to call him. Then what? Okay, you killed him. Now you're going to do 25 to life, or you're going to have a huge bond, and then your dad's going to be upset, your family's going to be upset. If you have kids, your kids aren't going to see you for years. They'll go through school, you'll miss them. That's why a lot of kids are missing their parents, is because they go to that, they let their emotions get the better of them. Like you
you're
said.
missing birthdays, you're missing holidays and
Mhm.
stuff like, and those are crucial because like birthdays especially, it's
Kids
just like
remember
they
that.
remember that.
And then guess
You don't
what?
show up for football practice, you don't show up for soccer practice or whatever practice. You don't show up for those practices. It really speaks to that kid's mind. It's just like, oh well, where's dad? Oh well, dad, you know where he is, and
Kids
you know
learn
how
that and they repeat. They're like sponges. You don't show up for a practice or you don't open the car door. I mean,
you don't show up for
sorry,
work.
guilty. I don't always open the car door.
No,
But
for me,
it's
it was
it's habit.
like for me, it's just like it's a force of habit.
But my
So
thing is, you learn that because you look at the people around you, the 5 people around you, and how they treat people. If
Yeah.
you see constantly seeing your father being nice and open the door for women and constantly doing
I mean,
this,
I
or
never,
even your mother,
actually,
you see your mother doing, like, oh, she's like holding the door for people when we go into the grocery store, or well, not grocery store because now they're automatic.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Well, no, because like there's some stores that you go into like Dollar Tree or Family
Yeah,
Dollar.
they'll
that's
hold
one
the
of those
door and
ones
say,
that's-
"Oh,
yeah.
let me hold the door," or they see an elderly person, "Let me help you carry those groceries out to your car." Like you learn that stuff, and
The simple
it sticks
narrative
with
type of stuff.
you. But now it's like you see your parents, and it's like, just get your groceries, quickly get to the car, load it in the car. Oh, there's an elderly person. They drop their bag of canned goods, or I know it's stereotypical, but they drop their bag of like whatever, of papers
Yeah.
or whatever. Like just walk past them or step over it, and that's the big thing. Is like, no, like be a good person, like help out. But the kid learns that and mimics. Kids are mimics.
Yeah.
Shout out to Five Nights at Freddy's. But
No, I mean it's true. Well, I hate to bring it to that again with like the whole COVID thing. I feel like COVID really like
people forgot how to interact.
yeah, people
with
forgot
each
how
other.
to interact. People forgot how to like really like just like be good Samaritans and stuff like that. And then when it finally like kind of like became post,
Yeah.
people were getting a little bit more comfortable and stuff like that. But like you understand, you're still a human being at the end of the day. You know?
And I feel like that's, I mean, I'm not trying to like, beat my horn or, freaking wax my car, but I feel like that's a northern thing. You go to New York, you're walking through New York City or Boston, or you're just not walking through like, Manchester, New Hampshire, Concord, New Hampshire, or like Detroit, Michigan, or anywhere up there. You walk through anywhere there, and it's like you drop something, people step over you. They'll be like, whatever. You're like, you're having a heat stroke, and you're laying on the sidewalk, and you're like trying to get in the shade, like under a tree or whatever.
Yeah.
People will just walk past you. Like the common courtesy thing, the thing to think about is like, hey, do I have a bottle of water in my car? I'm like this bottle of water I'm carrying? Do I really need it? I mean, I could give it to them and they'll probably take it regardless of me drinking out of it.
Yeah.
Because they desperately need it.
Yeah.
And I've actually seen that in some of the big cities down south. Like maybe not Atlanta. I mean, no shade on Atlanta people, but I mean, I feel like I've seen it more in a lot more cities down in the southern part than I have in the northern. But like you said, I mean, it comes down to like our parents, and like he told his son, he said, shoot me. Don't go out and shoot another kid. Shoot me. Because if you're that mad, you're that emotional, and that's how you got to get your emotions out, then I guess that's how you got to get your emotions out. Or put down the gun, like I'm telling you. Let's hug it out and let's talk.
Yeah.
And it took him a couple tries, like you said, but he got him to do it. I mean, the kid tears, but I mean, it doesn't always work out that way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
well, when you are able to break it down to them and stuff like that, and have them like come down to more like reasonable point, so that way they can kind of cool down. That way, it would at least like bring them to understand, de-escalate it, and bring them down to a certain point. Which also kind of brings me to another topic. Music. Music has a great way of influencing us. I'm a huge fan of like rock music. I have been listening to a good amount of rock music. People look at me and like they're like, oh, like you're Puerto Rican, like you're over here listening to like rock music or country music. Like I'm a man of like all different genres.
Yeah.
I'm not like just like generic to only Spanish music. Not saying I don't like Spanish music, but I like to listen to different type of genres because it gives you more of like a plethora of like not only their lyrics but like the feeling in that music.
yeah,
Because we've all listened to certain songs that made us feel type of way, that made us like it made the day go better. Especially if you're going through a heartbreak, or you're at the gym, or if you're just chilling out, or if you're dancing, or you're having a drink, you know what I'm saying? It's just it keeps you nice and coasted, so that way like like yeah, what you're going through is like kind of sucky and stuff like that, but play the song, let you relax to it, and it kind of like it eases it out so that way it puts you in a type of like, I won't say a solitude or utopia, but it makes you kind of appreciate life more.
It can bring back fond memories.
Yeah, especially the old songs like Far East Movement, Rocketeer, like that's
LMFAO. I remember. I mean, as stupid as it was, LMFAO. It was a trend. It was a thing. And
I mean, everybody was rocking the skinny jeans
even
back then.
like listening to like their basic songs, like Party Rock, and not Party Rock Anthem, Champagne Showers,
well, yeah, Party Rock
Anthem a little bit,
yeah.
Every Day I'm Shuffling.
Yep.
It was just like when I listen to it now, it holds a total different meaning than it did when I was listening to it back then.
Yeah, because back then you were just listening
to
it for like the beat, the rhythm and stuff like that. But then when you actually broke it down and stuff like that, like the same thing when I listened to OG Eminem, like when you get into actually doing music and you're doing rapping, it's crazy when you're doing the lyrical breakdown, especially if you're trying to make yourself better and you're trying to expand your vocabulary, you're trying to switch up the cadence, you're trying to switch up the flow and stuff like that. When you're listening to these rappers like Eminem and Royce the 5'9", King Crooked, and a couple of other people, the lyric breakdown, it's so exponential that it makes you realize the artistry of how they're applying their intelligence, not only just from a beat, but from their mind standpoint of how they're able to express themselves from an eternal point of what they've been through and what they gotta say. Because at the end of the day, like it's more about like what you gotta say out and how you feel inside, because that's what music is. It's about like how you feel. Music is always so easily connected because you can listen to a random song one day and you've never heard the song ever in your life, and then you're kind of just chilling out and just like, oh my god, like the song's always on the radio, and I always hit skip. I'm like, all right, let me hear what this thing got to say or whatever like that. Where you're on Pandora or you're doing your YouTube music and then you hit skip, and then like a random song comes through or whatever like that. Those random songs, some of those random songs, they have that type of thing where it's just like it has a nice beat, and then like you listen to the hook, and then like you're listening to the chorus and stuff like that, and then there's certain words or certain lyrics that kind of resonate with you, and it's just like, oh wow, okay. Like one of my favorite songs, that is definitely a hard one. I will be honest with you, that is a very hard one. Definitely one of my, I guess, within that range of favorite songs, it would have to be NF, Remember Me. That one's a really good one. Another good one, again, by NF, Mistake. That one is a tearjerker because he's basically like saying that like, oh, like, like don't look at me as I'm a mistake. Like when I pay the rent and the rent's due, I pay the rent and I get shit done, but don't look at me as a mistake if I can't, like do certain things other, throughout that bracket, whatever like that. Yeah. It's just crazy because if you're coming down from a man's perspective, saying like you're doing X, Y, and Z for your significant other, but then like they're over here looking at you like, oh, what else do you bring to the table, or like, what else do you have to offer? It's like the fuck you mean? Like, all right, I just did laundry and I cleaned the house and I paid rent and I paid the bills. Like what else do you want from me? Dax is another good one too. I don't know if you ever listened to Dax.
Can't. Unfortunate.
No. The Dax is another good one. He actually made an album called From a Man's Perspective. I suggest you check out that album. And there was a song that he made, and he was just like one of his lyrics was just like, the only time a man gets roses is when he's on the grave. And it's just like, man, guys don't get roses. We don't get anything like that. We don't get any of that type of like treatment, whatever like that. We just It's just like duty, 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 do this,
Well,
do this.
and it's like when you think about it, it's like the stereotypical people say, "Love me now, not when I'm gone." And a lot of people will be like, "Oh, like my uncle passed away, da, 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 it's so sad." And it's like, yeah, like not trying to downplay.
Yeah,
No one, like every life matters,
of course.
and so it is sad. I'm not saying that someone shouldn't cry, but if you're not talking to that like that, maybe that grandma, that uncle, that cousin, or whatever, you haven't talked to them or you haven't attempted to reach out to them and be like, hey, Merry Christmas, hey, Happy Thanksgiving, hey, Happy Birthday, or hey, how you doing? We haven't talked in like a year now. It's been a little while. I'm just making sure you're good. How you doing?
Yeah, just checking in.
Checking in. And if you're not doing that, and all you're literally, it's been like, you're like, oh, it's been like 5+ years since I talked to my cousin or my sister or my.
I actually most recently just started talking to my sister.
And that's
I most
but
recently just started
that's
talking to her.
good because my thing is, like, God forbid, knock on wood, something happens. You don't want to be like, hey, sis, I know I'm talking to you now. Like, unfortunate that whatever happened. I wish I would have talked to you more. The what ifs.
Yeah.
You don't want to say what if.
The coulda, woulda, shouldas, and stuff like that. That shit eats away
Oh,
at you,
yeah.
which is gonna obviously like lead to another like topic that we have coming up. But yeah, no, it definitely it dives in deep. What would you say is one of like
My songs.
Yeah, like what's the song that kind of resonates with you?
So, not trying to copy and paste your stuff, but I'm staying in the same genre, the same relative topic. 25 to Life by Eminem.
Oh yes,
I remember
yes.
listening to that, and I love my wife. Make sure that's out there. It isn't about my wife.
It's prominent. Trust me, he loves his wife.
I remember listening to the song when I was living at home.
Yeah.
And so my dad, my stepmom, my sister, and I was going to school, and this was high school, so my wife wasn't involved.
She wasn't in the picture, guys.
I remember listening to that song, and it was like exactly like you said, because you would go through relationships. I remember I'd get broken up with over and over and over, with the exception of one, but it was like you would look at it and you're like, look at the sacrifices I made. I bend over backwards till I snap.
Yeah.
That's literally what he says in the song. Eminem literally says, I bend over until I snap. It just shows like a lot of guys, not all guys, there are a lot of guys that will just lay there on the couch, drink, and, do their thing. But there's a lot of guys out there that will go and bend until they snap. They go to work for 40 hours, and that doesn't mean the job stops there. And that's a lot of the stereotypical thing is like, oh, a man works 40 hours and they're saying that they shouldn't have to do more. No, we're saying we work 40 hours and we come home and we do more.
Yeah.
And
well,
then
that's the thing.
stop.
That's the thing. Also comes down to equal equality too, because like you gotta
That's
understand.
non-existent. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
They want that. They preach to the choir about that. That's a whole nother topic, feminism. And
Yeah,
all that.
I like shout out to the females that are like
Oh,
doing
yeah.
like X, Y,
They
and
do
Z,
a lot.
and they're doing a lot
They
more.
do a
like
lot.
like they have their expectations, and then they might do even a little bit more and
Well,
stuff
that's
like that.
a prime example. Like I go and work 40 hours, and I mean I harp on my wife all the time about this, but I work 40 hours and then I come home and change diapers, and I'll cook dinner and stuff like that. No problem. I mean, because I shouldn't just get to work 40 hours, come home and play video games all day. Like, no, I got to work my 40 hours and then be a parent.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, I mean, job doesn't stop at 40 hours.
If there's one thing I learned about life is that the world doesn't pause.
It doesn't pause. After you hit that 40-hour mark, there's no stop. There's no pause. There's no, can I skip to the next week?
There's no little touch screen that lets you clock out. Nah, it's there, brother.
And that's why it's
there.
like, I mean, she'll work her 20-something hours, And then she'll come home, she'll take care of the kids, she'll change their diaper, she'll make sure they brush their teeth, she'll make sure they get their clothes. She makes sure she has all her stuff ready for, camp the next day or
Mm-hmm.
whatever she's got
Prepping it.
and she makes sure she's got all that done. And I mean, a mom's job is thankless. A stay-at-home mom, you can't thank them enough. They don't. You can't pay them enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we complain about our job and not getting paid enough. They can't get paid enough either.
Yeah.
I mean, their job is like a job like us.
I mean, it's the same thing, like, again, for us males, too, because we do thousands of thankless jobs. I remember there was one time that I was talking to you when we were gaming, and you had to, like, get up and do this, that,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and you were like, oh, like, sorry, I had to do this, and that. I'm like, oh, like, like, don't worry, Mike, it's a thankless job. He's like, yeah, that's all I do is thankless jobs.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. It's all thankless jobs. I mean, even like you said, life doesn't pause because you may be playing the video game, trying to do that hobby.
Yep.
Call back to our other video, watch our other video.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to do our hobbies, but sometimes we do need to put those hobbies on pause to take care of what's at our front door at the
Yeah.
moment. And I mean, not saying like you definitely need to go back and do that hobby because that hobby will help you with your mental health. Shout out to another video in the future. But no, I mean, it's definitely, you gotta, at the end of the day, 50-50, try to make it there.
Yeah.
But like I said, Eminem, 25 to Life, it's definitely a written out song that you can literally decipher at each word and each verse and be like, I can relate to this. Like, I really do. I try. I mean,
Yeah,
or
but-
even if you don't relate, like in the aspect of, yeah, I really bend over backwards. Yeah, I really try really hard. You could be like, maybe I should try. Like, maybe this is motivating me to try harder. But
Yeah.
that song just stuck with me because back then it was like I was trying really hard in school. I was doing the dishes. I was doing my own laundry. I was doing the towels. And I was, trying to like, I'd wipe the stove down, wipe the counter down, little stuff like that. That was
Yeah.
like thankless jobs. I'm a kid, I'm a teenager, and I'm doing this stuff. And it's like, oh, like, you left milk out on the counter. Oh, you left the towels in the dryer. They're all wrinkled now. It's like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
you know how many kids are out there that are doing absolutely nothing? Like they go to school, come home, play on their game, and stay in their room, and they don't do anything. They don't do dishes. They don't do their own laundry. They don't do their own towels. Their mom does it for them. See, my wife literally was like that. She didn't know how to do laundry. She didn't know how to operate a washer when I met her. She didn't know how to cook. She knew a little bit how to cook, but I mean, we're talking like grilled cheese or soup on a stove. And she's come a long way now. Now she can cook. She can operate the washing machine, the dryer, all that. She knows, delicate cycles, hot, cold, what 100% cotton, this, that, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Well, the thing is, like, it's a very learning experience, and it's also a very humbling experience when you decide to make someone your significant other on what they can teach you and what you could teach them. Because I've taught my ex millions of things and stuff like that because I'm pretty decent around cars. Like, I'm more on the collision and cosmetic repairs. I know you're very damn good on like the internal and automotive repairs, which is, I mean, they are both important, but when it really comes down to like, apples to apples and stuff like that, what's gonna cost you more? Collision or automotive? Automotive is gonna cost you more. So, the knowledge is, I'll tap my hat off on that. But yeah, no, I mean, when you get that significant other and then you guys are able to educate each other, now you guys are working as a unit, so it's gets towards that 50-50 range and stuff like that. Again, like how you say, what do you bring to the table? But just educating each other and stuff like that, because I don't want to call BS on the human mind stops learning at, like, they say whatever age. I believe it's like at 30 or 32 or
No,
something like that.
that's
But
a crock of shit. Call bullshit. Call bullshit. Bullshit.
but it's just like, no, there's no way that the human mind can like cap at a certain age, because they can't like internalize type of memory. If you are learning something hands on, the knowledge is still going to get internalized because you're getting it physical education. Physical education is going to speak more than book education overall, always. I could watch a video and that will be at least, like, I guess you could say that's in between a physical and text. But if you're getting it hands on, it's just more of a labyrinth like type of education, which actually brings me to our next topic about books. Just, I mean, I have a plethora of books, just like huge plethora. And everything that I've learned off of these books, there was one book that I have that what everybody is saying, and basically it was a FBI agent who made a book, and he was able to read the body language and kind of understand and interpret how people, like, if you wink, or if like you moved your eye in a certain way, or you look down, you kind of took a gulp, or you took a deep breath, or you kind of fixated your posture. Those little small signals are able to identify like certain things of like, are you telling the truth? Are you lying? Are you holding something back? Are you scared? Is this subject kind of like making you feel some type of way? Another two books that I love reading is the my David Goggin books. Nothing Can't Hurt Me and Never Finish. Like those books, I preach out to those books. Shout out to David Goggins. He's one of those inspirations that, like, if you really are trying to take yourself serious, he was the one that educated me about the accountability mirror. He was the one that taught me that, I hate to say it, but like motivation, unfortunately enough, it is bullshit. Motivation is bullshit because you can't look for something to get you going. You have to get yourself going.
Yeah.
And if you really want that, like if you want to lose, like let's say you have a goal, or let's say like it's due date, and you know for a fact for you to get into like that class or that school, you have to do X amount of this or whatever like that. Where's the motivation? Where's the motivation? If you're over here already fat, lazy, stupid, or whatever like that, there ain't no motivation. You ain't got zero motivation. Who's gonna drive you? What, you can look up some motivation videos. They'll probably get you going for a week, whatever like that. But it's very fatigued. It's brittle. It's not gonna keep you going on that line of where you need to go. But you know what's internally there? Discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline is always going to stay stagnant because it's as mean and as harsh as it has to be for you to recognize the reality of what you need to see. Because at the end of the day, we are who we are, and we are who we sleep with, and we are who we wake up with. So might as well take accountability of who we are and accept the fact that, hey, I am a fat, lazy piece of shit, or I am not too educated, and
I sleep with my wife. Just so everybody knows.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just it's those things that make you reevaluate certain things, so that way you can really understand and like get to that point of where you need to be, not to the point that you want to be. Because there's another topic that we're going to be talking about later on, the wants and needs, but you need to really like balance them shits out and actually figure out like what matters more.
That
and
makes
also
or breaks you.
Yeah, it makes and breaks you. And for you to understand that on that level, you can't be taking this sugarcoat fucking motivation bullshit and thinking, yeah, there ain't no one out here that's Willy Wonka. Like, you ain't no Willy Wonka. You can't be getting shit spoon fed to you and sugar coated. Like, the harsh reality is that, again, the world doesn't pause. You are who you are. So you got to face reality and be like, oh, like, I don't know how to do this, but, you can learn, but it's just you don't want to do it because you're not willing to put in the effort. People like to cap out at a certain point where they feel a certain discomfort and like, I'm tired. I can't do this extra set or I can't do this extra rep. It's like, no, you can. It's just you're choosing not to because you're feeling like your body is reaching towards that certain bracket or that limit. So it's just,
Yeah. And I mean, I've done things where it's like, prime example, like you said, motivation is crap when you think about it. I mean, I'm not saying like you shouldn't, you know, look for something to motivate you, but don't rely on it.
Yeah.
Once you rely, I mean, that's like relying on the medication. Oh, I'm in pain. I'm going to take this medication. I'm going to take this medication. Next thing you know, you're addicted.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Motivation is addicting.
Yes.
We look for a reason to be motivated. We look if the brakes on the car are wearing down, I got to change them. Like whether I go and pay someone to do it or I do it myself. And I mean, I've done brakes, I've done tie rods, I've done, spark plugs, oil changes, I've done alternators, I've done, the timing belts that the alternator has to, get moving. I mean, I've done it. And I've had a blessing of mechanics in my life that have helped me through it.
Yeah.
And they taught me how to do it. And it was hands-on. I observed it, absorbed it, and used it. And I mean, by doing that, you learn. And I mean, that's why you were like, you stop learning at a certain age, and then you're like, it's bullshit. It is bullshit. Like, there's no, like, debate. Like, I don't care what scientists or what, smart guy out there is like, oh, go on Google or go on all these articles. It says that you stop learning at this age. No, I'm not the Jesus Christ, but I'm proof that you don't stop learning. Like, even at 29 years old, you keep learning. You keep learning new things. I mean, that's like I taught my wife's dad how to do oil change, spark plugs, stuff like that. I mean, whether or not he retained the information is his choice.
Yeah.
But I taught him. He showed me acknowledgement. He did it alongside me. I saw him do it, so I know that he did it correctly. So you can continue to learn. It's a matter of if you lose the information.
And also if you're willing to learn, because there's a lot of people who get a little bit stubborn in their ways, or like people can't take constructive criticism, or like, I don't know. It's just, again, it's just the mind has to be willing to learn. The mind has to be willing to learn, and the mind has to be willing to break past of where it reaches its limit. Now, like, let's say, like, you're working out and stuff, and you're with a personal trainer, and then you guys are doing your sets and reps on an exercise that you already know is difficult, and you kind of cap out. Like, you pretty much like kind of like quit like halfway, or like you're at like maybe like close to the finish line, but for a fact that you can go more, but your body's telling you no because that's your body telling you it. And then your mind kind of conversates with the body, because then it's just like, okay, this is it for me. This is where I'm cutting it. But like the level cap of where you're putting yourself at is just you're cutting yourself so short, because the human capability is like it's far beyond what we think it is.
We put a limit.
Yeah, we put that limit, and then we don't know that we can do a limit break and actually finally able to find ourselves and be like, wow, like I didn't know I was able to put myself through that much torture and pain, and now here I am. You didn't die. I mean, you're definitely going to be sore.
That's like, that's like the squats that we did. I mean, I was like, I slapped on 2 10-pounders, and you're like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. Boom. And I paddled them out. I paused on some of them even, and I was like, boom. Threw it on there, and then you were doing it, and then you even like I could see you kind of struggling on that last set, and I kind of like not tooting my horn, but it kind of made me feel good because I was like, oh shit, like the weight I lifted wasn't really as light as I thought it was. Like I'm because I'm very like self conscious when I go to a gym. I'm like, oh, am I lifting enough? Like, am I like, do I
Me,
look big enough?
yeah,
Or
I think for you, like personally wise, like I think for you, you need to go experience the gym more, and maybe
yeah,
even by yourself too, so that way you can kind of break that. Because when I was going to the gym, I didn't really have too many people to go to the gym with, and the times that I was going, it was just like either A, the person was working, or B, the person wasn't available. And
yeah.
then it was just like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna go by myself. And I was going to the gym like back then. I was going to the gym. I was a little bit of a unhealthy wise. I was going to the gym 3 times a day. I was going to the gym in the morning, on my lunch break, and after work. Then I cut it down to going to the gym in the morning and after work, and now I cut it all the way down to just going after work. I mean, I would like to go back to that, but when you
Where's
reach,
that Brian? Where is he?
but
I offer that treatment. I said,
but
Brian, you want to go? You want to go? Huh? Huh? You want to go?
but
We were up till 2. We're up till 2 a.m. You want to go at 10 a.m.? You want to go at 7 a.m.?
but yeah, when you reach a certain age, I think I'm starting to also realize that when you reach a certain age, it does like start to like dig on you, especially if you're doing
Oh, yeah.
jobs that are requiring
Oh,
like a
yeah.
lot of like body movement and a lot of muscles and stuff like that.
My job's easy. My job's real easy, guys. My job's a walk in the park. Now he knows how I feel.
But yeah, it's like I said, you gotta know that you're able to go the X amount. You can't think that like this is where I'm gonna stop and stuff like that. Like yes, if you're feeling dizzy and stuff like that, definitely take like a little bit breather and stuff like that. But definitely get back into it because you're gonna end up beating yourself up if you don't go, and then you're gonna end up beating yourself up that you didn't go as hard because we know when we go hard during sets and reps, and we know when we don't go hard during sets and reps. If you're already there, then might as well make the most of it. Don't cheap it yourself out. Don't leave anything left behind because like the harsh reality is like eventually like we're all end up gonna be dying. Like we
Yep.
all gonna be living in that graveyard and stuff like that. So
You don't
might
take
as well.
anything with you, so you might as well go in the grave happy with what you got.
Yeah, because and this was another quote that I heard from a book that I read. It was by Les Brown. Shout out to Les Brown. He's a
Oh.
he is a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
But he's also he made a book. I
Oh,
have the
wow.
book. If you want, I'll let you check it out.
Yeah.
He said that people often leave a lot of stuff left behind and they don't live to their own expectations. And the most expensive place, people always think like the most expensive place is like a mansion or something like that. No, the most expensive place is the graveyard. Why?
Yeah.
Because there is so many ideas, so many inventions, so many things that were left unsaid, undone, that now it's sitting there in the graveyard. Picture this, like you're in the emergency room, right? You're in the
Mhm.
emergency room, you got into a really bad car accident, you could be to the point of like death, or you're pretty much like close to dying, and then around you is surrounding you with nothing but all your regrets.
Mhm.
All the things that you never did, and they're all surrounding you, and they're telling you, and they're talking to you, and they're telling you, we came to you
Mhm.
for opportunity, for a proposition, for you to make us come alive, and you didn't. Now we have to die with you because you didn't make us become alive.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, you don't realize like the graveyard is the finish line. The graveyard, the morgue, whatever you get cremated, whatever your belief, um, that's the finish line here on Earth. And whatever you don't finish, like you said, all those regrets, you know, unfortunately, I mean, be honest, my room would be pretty damn full. I mean, I think most of our rooms would be full, but it's a
Yes.
matter of would you have a room full, a house full, or a stadium full. Um, the smaller you could shrink that crowd down to, the better, of course. Um, so I think that a lot of people take life for granted, and to bring it to our song choice with NF and Eminem, we do a lot, and we need to focus also on ourselves and what we could accomplish and what ifs and break that limit, as well as not leave regrets.
Yeah.
Um,
Can't leave anything unsaid,
yeah,
undone.
we gotta love our family, love our parents. They were there for us. We need to be there for them. Not necessarily if they do. I mean, if they do the right thing and we learn from that, great. If they don't do the right thing, then we need to try and evolve, because that's the best thing a human can do is evolve. We're good at that.
Yeah.
And we need to evolve
Very
and
adaptive.
be better.
Yeah.
Better than what our parents were, better than what we are. Unfortunately, it's like a job when they set that bar higher because they're like, oh, you can do this and this. Well, now you can do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, am I going to get a pay raise for that? Nope, you don't get no pay raise.
Yeah.
Just like life, we need to set our bar higher and be like, hey, here's the bar. We're going to move it up a little bit. Oh, do I get more life points? You don't get no life points. You go in the grave, boy. Like, but trying to think of a book that I could think of off the top of my head since I kind of breezed past it. Hate to say it. I mean, I grew up not really liking books or being kind of caring for books too much. I think, like I said, 7 Daily Habits of a Teenager stuck with me when I was a young teenager.
Yeah.
I was like in high school, and reading into it, it helped me kind of break down like, hey, like, maybe it taught me communication was key. Like if you're talking with a friend and he goes over and he takes one of your books and doesn't return it, don't like sit there and be like, hey, you're an asshole, you stole something from me. Like talk to him and be like, hey, like do you have that book still? Like I'm just wondering, because I really appreciate it back. Like communication, a lot of us forget that communication is important.
I think people confuse communication with altercation. Yeah.
And I mean, I hate to bring it back to that as well. COVID and just like, I mean, I don't want to blame video games, but I mean, parents not making their kids go out and do stuff, go out or play with toys. Like my daughter always asking, can I play on the Switch? Can I play on the Switch? Can I play on my tablet? Can I watch TV? I'm like, no, go play with toys. Go play with that dollhouse we bought you. Go play with the toys that we bought you. I always pick on her and I go, hey, like, you want us to bag your toys up, donate them to another kid that will play with them? You don't want to play with them? She goes, no. I'm like, okay, go ahead, go play with them. I'm like, go play with them, be a kid, play with some toys. You can play on your video game system, your Switch or your tablet later. You can play for it on like an hour or something. Give them a little bit of time, but when you start giving them like, hey, yeah, you could play on your Switch, and then next thing you know, they're playing like 5-6 hours on it or more, and then it becomes a need rather than a want, because they're so absorbed in it. And I mean, communication is important between two parents, and to raise a kid. And that was another thing. Preparation was another one.
Yeah.
As you can attest, I'm a prepper.
Yeah.
I prep a lot.
I mean, it just sets you up for the day properly.
It does. Like prep your bag for the next day for
Prep
work.
your clothes, prep your food.
Prep your food. Prep all that, because if you do it the current day and you don't say, oh well, I could wake up like 30 minutes before I got to go to work and I could quickly do all this real quick. Like no. You got time today. Like you said, the time doesn't pause. Like, let's get on it. Let's go. You got extra time. Right before you go to bed, it takes just like you were trying to justify saying, oh, it only takes me like 30 minutes to get my bag, get my lunch, and get my clothes on. Like, okay, well, it only takes you 30 minutes to do it today, too.
Yeah.
Just because it takes you 30 minutes tomorrow doesn't mean it doesn't take 30 minutes today.
Exactly. Well, what's the difference?
What's the difference? Like, take that 30 minutes today and do it today and watch how you feel the next day. You're like, wow, I woke up and it was already ready and I had extra time to drink that cup of coffee. I had extra time to, eat that bowl of cereal. I had extra time. I was able to stop at Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, or whatever the hell you like
Yeah,
to do.
whatever you need to do for
McDonald's.
extra.
Like,
Yeah.
you were able to, like, do that, or you were able to get to work early and you were able to sit down and kind of wake up a little bit. Like, it's just that extra 30 minutes that you have, or that extra time that you have the next morning because you prepared the day before, could make or break you.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of time, we are gonna go ahead and
We'll sign on off, I think.
yep, we are gonna go ahead and sign off. This was Conversation Convo Combos, and we will be right back with y'all with another video soon.
All
Good
right.
night.